This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novelli. Text the show on 81215. You're a big part of it. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio and email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. Options. I've had, I think, 4 hours sleep, but it's all right.
Did you?
Oh.
Check you
Yes,
out.
my 11-year-old son Baz and I was at the O2 last night watching Iron Maiden.
Oh, wow.
Man, they completely rocked the joint.
Bruce Dickinson sprinting up and down.
Oh, it's just fantastic. I mean...
It's becoming quite a habit.
Yeah,
now.
last week, if you remember, we'd just got back from Guns N' Roses at Hyde Park.
I mean, every Saturday I come in to see you and your son watching a video featuring a middle-aged man going, ah!
No,
that's my life
me.
now.
That's me waking up in the morning. The thing is, these are bands, bands and bands like them that I was watching when I was 15. And then I sort of went off, like heavy metal and stuff.
Can I ask
heavy.
a question? Was R. Keith into these bands?
Keith, he was a prog rocker. He liked
Bloodwind Pig.
Yeah, he liked Bloodwind Pig. He loved.
Yeah.
And just he had a picture of Bloodwind Pig on his wall, and you couldn't tell where one Bloodwind Pig member started and the next one stopped. You know what I mean? There just was hair with faces looking out of them. Fantastic. But yeah, I'm sort of getting totally back into it now, sort of by osmosis. Just being around all that stuff. So it's brilliant. Oh, I didn't mention that we went to Wembley last Saturday to see Motley Crue and Def Leppard double bill.
Are you joking?
Yeah.
You guys are going to have to start going around in a sort of battered old VW van.
Yes. I'm doing the bad dad thing of taking earplugs and they never get out of my pocket. I mean,
I imagine all the people on stage at this time of their life have them as well.
Yeah, I think they do wear them.
Put your hands in the air if you're dialed into the hearing loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Canes go flying into the...
Put your hands to your ear.
You and your son introduced me this morning to an extraordinary character who was sort of the Bez of the heavy metal world. Who is this man?
I suppose he's a grotesque Bez, if such a thing is...
Zombie Bez.
Yeah. Yeah, Eddie, who comes on stage intermittently... at Iron Maiden gigs in various guises.
Yes.
He's about 10 foot tall.
Yeah, and he sort of stomps around with a slight panto horse.
And he has
motion.
a sort of skull face, or...
Yeah, and at one point he's... Bruce Dickinson, he climbs about a lot.
Oh, they all
Bruce
climb
Dickinson.
about, dear.
Yeah. And he has a cannon where he fires like fireballs at Eddie, and Eddie fires stuff back, and they have a duel on stage. Oh man, it's brilliant. But it was dirty. It's a bit dirty. Motley Crue, I didn't really know their stuff. They're fantastic, but they're dirtier. They've got like dancing girls doing pole dancing.
No, they have to go and spoil
And Tommy
it.
Lee on the drums.
Oh, he's still going, Tommy.
Gosh.
Former Pammy boyf. This has got very...
It's in a Heat magazine, 1998.
it's got very Heat magazine.
It's Eddie's new squeeze.
There was a section in the Motley Crue where... Buzz went very, very red indeed, and
Why?
I checked the date on my watch to make sure we weren't in 1978. Well, I can't fully describe it on breakfast, but he basically, Tommy Lee comes to the front of the stage.
Hang on, which gig? I'm so...
That's Motley Crue.
This is Motley
He's
Crue.
the drummer with and
Okay.
he sort of requests
Oh, dear.
certain revelations from the audience.
Oh, dear.
It's kind of... I couldn't believe it was actually happening. But they were brilliant. They just have got a bit of that stuff going on.
Oh, dear.
And Def Leppard also. So that's become our lives.
Throwing
It's
in
the summer of rock. Oh man, I've done so many horn signs of late.
I worry I missed the point with heavy metal, though, because this morning I found myself, when you were telling me about Eddie, asking, does he have a partner?
Yes.
And, do you know
To
what
my
I mean?
knowledge, he never married, but he's one of those guys. His private life has been very guarded.
Yes.
This is the thing about sleeping in a flight case.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
So they also had Motley Crue had these giant inflatable sort of robot women on stage.
Oh dear.
I love a giant inflatable, though, don't you?
Yeah.
No comment.
I tell you what I like. I always liked. I haven't seen one for years. The billowing tall man.
Yes.
They used to blow air into the bottom of him.
Are you talking about it's outside sort of car lots in America?
Yeah, you
they
get
have
that.
it with the second-hand car
I've seen them at
places.
sports events as well.
Yeah.
Wacky inflatable flailing arm tube man.
What's the point of the man? I mean, that particular man.
to
It's just great.
inspire.
It's just great to see a really tall man in any context. That's
Is
why
it to
we hired
attract
Pierre in the first place.
Yeah.
Is it to attract people?
I think, I don't know, if I went through another period of abject loneliness in my life, rather than get a pet, I think I'd get one of those undulating giants.
In the garden.
Yeah, and just sit and talk to him like in a lovely fairy tale.
He'd be a very reactive conversation partner.
He would,
Yes,
but
would.
he's constantly animated. That's the thing with him.
But what about at the end of the day where you have to turn the sort of motor off and he slowly descends?
Oh no, I think I could afford to keep him
Keep
24
him running
hours. The
all night.
neighbours would be saying, no, the undulating giant kept us awake all last night.
His arms were thwipping against our window pane.
You know what? It
Put
would be a
burglars
horrible.
off. They saw a 30-foot man in the garden.
He seems in a state of rage.
Well, do you remember Noel Edmonds used to drive around with he had the, was it an inflatable model in the...
Inflatable woman, yeah, in
What?
the
In
the
passenger seat.
Do you not know about this?
Is this a carpooling scam?
I think she was in the back, actually, and I think the idea was he drove a London cab and he didn't want people to keep trying to flag him down, so he put a mock passenger. But she had a name and she had a special place at his house and stuff.
Oh, I see. Like in real life, he was driving one of those, like a repurposed cab.
Yeah, in real life. No,
thought this was like a
does
sketch.
not operate in real life.
He always did seem like a dream-like figure to me.
Well,
It's a cosmic ordering.
It's a cosmic. He said if you write down 7 things and sort of attract the sky's attention, the universe's attention, you'll get all those things.
Isn't it funny how...
Doesn't even work with a cardo. And he suggested you could do it in a cosmic way.
Do you think you could get a sort of message from the universe saying, you requested £1 million.
Yeah.
We have substituted garden peas.
Exactly. Where is he
we hope
now?
This is fine. He's moved to New Zealand, I think.
Did he?
I think
He'll
so.
be doing something with helicopters. They love helicopters, those
If I
men.
had an undulating...
Men love helicopters.
If I had an undulating giant in my house, in the fireplace, I'd have, that red and yellow fabric fire.
Yes, yeah.
Also with an underblow. I'd just have like an underblow house with all those things rippling everywhere. If anyone has spotted an undulating giant recently, I'd love to know.
How much do they cost?
That's a great question.
That's fine.
How much? I mean, what should we guess? I'm going to say $14.99.
No, what?
They're quite big.
No, they come with it's like they're like a hot air balloon.
The fabric cost alone.
Do they have that hot air balloon? You know, the hot air balloon every now and again goes. I wonder if they do that. That would imagine
Do they
their
then say,
neighbours.
excuse me?
No, neighbours going crazy. You have to come with a name for him. Oh man, life.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
David Brackley has been in touch.
Oh,
Frank.
yes.
Hi, Frank. I too was at Wembley Stadium last Saturday for Deaf and Crew. I'm so in. I mean, Deaf and Crew. Then Tuesday in Birmingham to see the Mighty Maiden. Men squeezed into original tour T-shirts. They all seem to have a gap bottom of the shirt to top of jean. That's from Prisoner 666.
Yes, but that's great because it's a world where, you're not judged on appearance.
I think if anywhere's true of that, it's an Iron Maiden concert.
Yeah, exactly.
Very open society.
Well, look at Eddie. He leads by example, I
Yeah.
find.
And he's a free spirit.
Oh, he's a free spirit, all right.
What moisturiser would you recommend for Eddie?
Yeah, but maybe not battery acid, which is what he's been using for years.
All I would ask is just a little more origin story of
Yeah.
for Eddie.
No, it all exists, that stuff.
Does it?
right? Yeah.
Okay, I'll get it off your son.
If you want to, Google Eddie, and we went to a Star Wars exhibition.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, do you not know about this problem?
I think this is a Black Country thing. Cause
No, I think it's a Frank thing.
I don't know, because my friend George, who we all went to go see,
Really love
he's a fellow
George.
Black countryman.
George is the actor that we saw in The Comedy of Errors.
Fabulous actor.
Sometimes called A Comedy of Errors, but incorrectly.
An error itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when I was first befriending George, I noted that he would say things like apartment complex
Oh.
instead of complex.
Well, one that I was picked up on very early when I moved to London is that we didn't have any distinction between bought and brought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That must have got you into all sorts of scrapes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll tell me about... no, it didn't really, but anyway, but people did think that. I wrote it in the script and people said, oh, you've done that wrong, that should be bought. And I had no idea what they were talking about.
Really?
Yes! When people say really, has anyone ever changed their story?
They go,
on the
nah,
strength
you
of that?
got me there.
Yeah. And he bought me 12 red roses. Really? No. Well, no.
They were 11.
Yeah, and they were blue. They were plastic. No, it would be a weak liar indeed who broke down on a really.
Yeah, the sort of person who ticks yes in the "Are you a terrorist?" box when entering the country.
Can I say we've still not had an answer to the question, how much is one of those inflatable men?
Oh, I mean, you'd think.
Asking for a friend.
What about, have we established what if Elon Musk did a music tour, what his backing singers would be called?
Oh, yes, we were discussing that
Yes.
off air. I think you might have nailed it. What was your contribution?
I thought the Musketeers.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have three of them, obviously, but Elon Musk and the Three Musketeers.
Was it just sort of all for one, and then they stopped talking?
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
Fabulous. So, yes, he is touring, apparently.
Who, Elon Musk?
Yeah, so I hear.
Yeah.
So one thing I didn't know, and you might know this, Emily, because you're a lady, is that you could get at one time Barbie Darth Vader
Really?
and Barbie C-3PO.
Now,
Oh.
how visually different are they from?
Oh,
Darth-
considerably.
Yeah.
Does Barbie just essentially have an LBD on?
Well,
An inhaler.
what is an LB?
A little black dress.
No, she has a big black.
Does she wear a cloak?
Yeah, she's very Vader-esque.
Oh.
I'd say the C3. I once went to one of those stand-up sunbathing booths. You remember those?
Oh, yes.
A makeup artist said you need to get a tan. You're looking pale. So I went and did one of those things. This was before fake tan was common. And you put gold things in your eyes, like
Yes,
pointy
the little
things.
discs.
Yeah, to stop your eyes burning. But then
We
when
should
I
have known at that point it maybe wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, but when I first went, I got another part burnt as well. So the next time I went, I wore 3 of those gold things. And I said I looked like if C-3PO went on a naturist holiday. That's what he would have looked like.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, there was some big news yesterday. I don't know if you're aware, but it was our special day. Do you know what our special day is?
Oh, I tell you why I know this, because former producer of this show, Daisy, texted me and said, I don't know how it is in North London, but out west where we are, it is definitely Flying Ant Day.
Yes.
And I replied back, I went out into the garden to investigate, and I said, all we seem to have is ground troops.
I like the idea of you investigating.
Well, I don't want to miss.
Opening a window.
I went outside.
Did you?
But I didn't see a flying ant.
Were your flying ants?
Everywhere.
Do you think they were put off by the flailing giant man?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he generates a fair amount of hot air. You wouldn't want to fly through that vapour with air delicate undercarriage.
No.
Yes, they were out yesterday. I was first alerted to it by Nick Grimshaw on social media.
Mr. Grimshaw. Yeah.
Mr. Grimshaw was the first to break the news.
Oh, okay. So he acknowledges that it exists. Just for any new listeners, I once mentioned it on Graham Norton.
Do you know about this, Pierre?
No.
Oh, it's the most mortifying thing that's ever happened.
And James McAvoy.
And you were also on with Marianne Cotillard.
Yeah, and the man with the German surname, actor.
Yes, who is
Something
called
man.
Michael
A cancelled James Bond film.
Fassbender.
The Irish-German actor.
Yeah, Fassbender. You were on with Fassbender.
Was I?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Yes,
think
it was.
Anyway, so none of them had heard of it.
Fassbender. Yeah.
And then Graham Norton said, no, I haven't heard of it. And I knew he had. He's just siding with Hollywood against Oldbury.
Well, so Fassbender was just shrugging, Cotillard, je ne sais pas.
And Fassbender, that's his football.
But I remember I broke the golden rule because I said, maybe you guys are just too famous to be allowed to. And Graham said, we don't want any of that. It was like the absolute rule you never break on Graham Norton. Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, I was made to feel like I'd made the whole thing up. He gaslighted me.
Oh, Frank, that's quite over the top. You weren't. It wasn't.
I was made to think I'd imagined Flying Ant Day on a major television programme in front of Hollywood royalty.
There's no such thing as flying ants, Frank.
Yeah.
Now sign this document.
Exactly. It was awful. I was... But they do exist, and we've got witnesses, yeah?
Oh, yeah, there's all sorts. I mean, Dorse says, I saw a solitary flying ant yesterday, possibly a scout checking out the conditions.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe just the loneliest flying ant in the world. But the annual ant ascension feels imminent. I just thought Frank would like to know.
We've always called it on this show, and we've been discussing it for many, many years. Flying Ant Day, but we've never checked on whether it lasts more than 24 hours. I mean, it's weird that they just do one day, isn't it? Or was it Ant Independence Day? Independence Day. No, but it is weird that if it is just a day. Stop looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking. It's like being back on Graham Norton. Can't see that happening.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
442. Good to Mr. Skinner. Grooving away at Iron Maiden last night at the O2 Arena in London. I like good to Mr. Skinner.
What does that mean?
Well, it just means good on Mr. Skinner.
Oh, okay.
Has he left out the word see?
Oh, good to see.
One of
Lovely.
the...
No, I like good to.
Good to.
The support act last night for Iron Maiden was Lords of the Lost.
Oh.
Yes, I think I've encountered
They
them
own
before.
Tom Tom. And
I think they may have gone to my school.
yeah,
Were they late?
I think Buzz said they were on Eurovision.
Oh.
Are they? Are they?
Were they like Lordy?
Blood of glitter.
Oh, okay. They're Swedish. Are they Swedish?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they... I knew there was someone, because he said, when they asked for people to clap along, he said, London, all of your hands, please.
It's slightly sinister.
It is.
I love almost accurate English from bands. I think that's one of my favourite types of spoken word.
Speaking of almost accurate English, do you remember I was telling you about my penguin escalator slide experience? Boz has got a thing called Runing Go, which is supposed to be running go, which also means nothing.
Yes.
But they misspell.
We had a message about Rune and Go, which I'll share in a minute.
Well, I bought a charger cable this week for my phone, and it said on the box premium charger cable, and then it had one of these translation things, and I know there's someone a bit cheap about the translations, but this is as a twist on it, of course. It said, apply this charger for your phone. You can enjoy convenience and freedom in your life.
Oh.
And the thing about it is yes, I sniggered originally at that translation. But what I have bought is a 2-metre charger cable. Because what I was doing, as I lay in bed with the phone at my side, because where the socket is, I actually had to slightly get out of bed to check my phone in the night. And I put up with that for about 6 months, and I thought, you know what? I've got international representation. So I bought a much longer lead so I could have it at the side of my bed. And I can honestly say that it has... it's brought me convenience and freedom in my life. It actually was correct. That's what's happened. You know, when you do a quality of life purchase, when you think this is a bit mad, but I just think it might make a really...
Oh, yeah.
Like me and Buzz ordered a... what are they called, those things? A gyoza maker.
Ah.
Yeah.
Folding over the
80p.
No.
Yeah.
What?
And you just put a circle of the pastry and then you just fold it up like a little envelope and a lovely little gyoza comes out.
Oh.
80p.
80p? Yeah.
God.
Mine hasn't turned up yet. Yeah, next time you hear of it, I might be in court talking about it. But the quality of life, those are the purchases
I'll tell you a quality of life purchase. Buying one of those tube men, and 597 has exclusively revealed a 20-foot green tube man is $31.50 apparently.
That is a giveaway.
Gosh.
I thought it would be hundreds.
I don't know, it's a lot of gyoza makers.
Yeah, it is. If I had the choice, I'd be Sans Gyoza.
Would you?
And I'd have a new friend.
Oh, that new friend. Do you know what he would do?
Who undulated.
He'd change the quality of your life.
Oh, yeah. I think he would do, and the air above my garden. Oh, that's such a bargain.
I know.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novelli. Text the show on 81215. People have. We're about to read some out. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
Okay.
That's my favourite bit, saying those housekeeping things.
Yeah.
I'd happily just read from bits of paper for the whole show.
Yeah, the news.
I'm sure a lot of people do.
I was going to say, many people do. I'd like to kick off with this from Jonathan Hollis. You were talking, you may recall, Frank, about purchases that have changed your life in a way you couldn't possibly have imagined. You mentioned
I
phone
bought
charger.
a 2-metre phone charger cable, which has just made life so much sweeter. To be able to just reach out of bed and there's your phone charging, instead of having to take 3 steps to be able to check it.
How long did it take you to come round to the decision to buy that charger?
I say I went... my first thought was 6 months. It was probably 12 months of putting up with that. Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan Hollis says, good morning, y'all. I must say my quality of life purchase have been some bed braces. I know, I was alarmed as well.
Did you buy them from Frida Kahlo?
Finally, someone's dressing for bed.
They are attached to the corners of the bed, to hold the sheets in place. I was forever having to rearrange the bed sheet to stop it slipping off the bed. Absolute life changer for £2. Much love, Jonathan Hollis.
Does he mean the duvet, or does he actually have sheets and things?
Well, hang on. What's that sheet, Pierre, that's under... Do you know what I mean? The under sheet,
The
as it were.
fitted sheet?
No, under the fitted sheet.
The comfort.
The mattress
There's
protector.
something
Mattress
under
protector.
the fitted sheet.
I'm talking about...
I have never looked down there.
Hang on. What about the mattress protector?
Yeah.
That has built-in braces. Surely.
Yes. I thought maybe the bed braces were sort of to keep your pajama trousers at the correct height.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Like a sort of shirtless workman
I thought it was
in bed.
some of Frank's friends in the S&M community.
The bed, so they actually hold that bottom sheet in place.
I have to say, there are some sheets where they're not quite fitted properly, and if you're rolling around, they can sort of cluster. They
I
get
think
pulled off.
sometimes with the posh ones, I don't think they like to go for the elastic bottoms.
No, that's true.
They find them. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I see that.
They
See,
want hospital corners.
Yes.
I would like something that stopped the duvet crouching in the corner of the duvet cover.
Yes, yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
You know the buttons or zip section, the button section.
You want a snug fit, Frank.
I don't want the duvet to try to escape from the duvet cover, and then you end
Yeah.
up with just a lot of. And sometimes I'll sleep, and it's all hanging out the bottom like a hernia.
Oh, I've had that, Frank. I've had that.
And
it's so depressing.
And I'm
Yeah.
sleeping under like a foot of the top of it. It's just duvet cover, some wafer thin,
Yeah.
and then there's this big lump at my feet.
Yeah, it's formed a sort of like a capital J.
I once likened it to, you know, when you loan someone a set of keys and they put them back through your letterbox in a big envelope.
Yeah.
It's like sleeping under that.
Oh, I can't bear it, Frank.
Oh, why? There must be a gadget for that can improve the quality of my life.
Do you favour zips or buttons?
Zips are better. Because I don't like that when it starts to protrude. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah.
You can get.
I don't want to
Oh,
see
yes.
an uncovered duvet.
I know what you mean at the bottom when it gapes out. It
Yeah,
gets a
it
bit
start-
Iron Maiden concert.
I have bought a weighted
brought?
blanket.
A weighted blanket.
And the reason I bring it up is that to stop exactly that sort of.
Can I say on this show, you never need to justify bringing anything up?
No, sure, but
Especially not blanket related.
No, certainly not.
within the sort of cover for it, the sort of duvet cover equivalent, it had little ties, little 2 pairs of strings that you were to
Strings, you
use
say?
to tie to the duvet
Hold it,
internally.
Have you got guy ropes
Yeah.
on your duvet?
So it's inside
Is
the
it
duvet.
Frank,
Is it pegged to the bedroom floor?
Yeah.
Frank, he likes to keep an outdoors flavour, the
Yes,
South
yeah.
African in him. He likes to pretend he's in the
It
camp.
sounds like he sleeps in a room where gravity is a problem, and sometimes it turns upside down. He doesn't want to fall out of bed.
That's basically it.
Hang on, talk us through the blanket.
So the little strings are inside the duvet cover to stop it from escaping from the corners of the duvet cover.
That's what I'm after, isn't it?
It sounds
How
very
much is
complicated.
that? I'm just putting together my shopping basket with inflatable man.
$31.50.
The
Yeah.
odds maker.
How much is it, roughly?
Oh, it depends on the weight of the weighted duvet, but I'm sure you
not
can get
the-
a cover.
Not the weight of the sleeper.
No.
No.
Okay.
Imagine if there's a fire though and you're trapped. Trapped in your duvet ropes. Oh, what a way to go. Frank Skinner, the Birmingham comedian, perished today.
He is survived by an inflatable man.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Stephen in Bournemouth. Hi, Frank, Emily and Pierre. We have a local car wash with a very tall man outside who is
Oh, yes.
static.
They do like a car wash, those undulating giants.
He says apart from his left arm, which amazingly moves up and down by going limp and then being filled with air.
Oh, Travolta style.
So
Yeah.
moving
See,
his arm.
I avoided Nazi Germany there and went for light entertainment. That's what breakfast radio is all about.
You did. Do you know what?
What?
I felt immense relief.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hence, moving his arm up and down incessantly to point you to the car wash.
It's quite aggressive, isn't it?
Oh.
Look, over here.
And as Stephen says, no undulating, flailing arms here.
No.
All he needs now is a bellowing voice saying, "Your car is filthy. Get in here."
See, I
They
would
should
have
get Brian
done.
Blessed to record that.
I'd addressed him as one of those. What do they call those Mexican bands that play? They're
A
sort-
mariachi.
Yeah, I'd dress him like that, and the sleeves would be the two of those things that you get in car washes that clean the car. Well, oh man, that would have been fantastic.
We've heard from Joe Schofield as well. He says undulating men are still big here in the Paris suburbs.
Oh, get me over
really?
Yeah.
there. Get me there.
Joe Schofield says there's at least 2 on Route Nationale 7. Within 2 kilometres of Corbeil-Essonne. They even survived the riots.
They're so sophisticated. They've stuck with it. They've stuck with the undulating giant.
La grande homme undulating.
Yeah, exactly.
We would never burn down one of them.
No, that's good. Well, also you're not quite sure how flammable the thing that's keeping them
Do you know
inflated
what? I
is.
bet they're a bit classier in Paris.
Do you
The
think?
undulating
Yeah,
undulators. I bet they've got a sort of slight houndstooth check motif or a little bit of a Chanel double C, interlocking C.
They've sellotaped a little cigarette onto the end of one of the arms.
Yeah,
Maybe a beauty
whereas
spot above the mouth
if I get one, I'm going to have like quite a big beer belly on it.
and a cap. Listen, Paul from Fallsworth, Manchester, says, I've been in pest control for 26 years.
Okay.
Flying ants.
Imagine the death list on his hands. Oh, God.
Flying ants are actually the queens of the small black ant we see in the gardens.
Are they?
Paul from Fallsworth, is it, Manchester, has some fascinating things to say. He continues, the small ants are sterile females. Only the queen.
Take that back.
Only the queen can reproduce.
But what about the male ants?
We're getting to him.
Okay.
Black ant colonies are a single queen colony where only one female produces eggs. So what happens is when the queen produces the next generation of queens, they grow wings. And along with males, they leave the nest. Mate on wing. Basically, he calls it the Mile High Club for ants.
Oh, they mate in midair.
Yes. Yes. They then drop to the ground and burrow into the ground, hibernate until the next spring when they start their own colony.
So 364 days of the year, they sleep in the soil.
They just hang out.
And then one year, they copulate in the air.
And then they fall to the ground, exhausted.
It'd be quite a
It
thing.
sounds like my dream life.
It'd be quite a thing if our monarchs behaved in the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Paul,
Oh, well,
Paul
that's it.
actually...
Well done, Paul, with your facts.
They were,
Coming here with your facts.
that was genuine. It didn't mean to sound quite
didn't.
so resentful.
It was genuine.
There isn't a particular day ant swarm, Paul says, but it does tend to be when it's hot and humid. I hope this is informative.
It is informative. I don't think there's any question about that. Fantastic. He's up the ante, is what Paul's done.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, everyone.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Simon has pointed out, morning Frank and team, on unfinished business from last week on the matter of introducing band members with Mr.
And on drums, Mr. Yes.
Do they do Eddie? Does he get Master?
No.
And General Vibes, Master Eddie.
Eddie is, he's like a sort of stage invader. He comes on unintroduced and then there are attempts to repel him.
I do find that confusing.
Why?
Well, because they seem to fear and to fight Eddie. but then he's kind
Do
of
they
their
fight
mascot
him?
as well.
I know,
They're
yeah.
shooting a cannon at him.
Or just sack him if he's causing problems. Why have him on the board?
You're right, though. Yes, he's.
How much do you think Eddie gets paid? Do you think he gets on?
That's a good question, because there must be a regular Eddie under there, one would think. I bet he's on at least 40 quid a night.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's more than that. It's quite hard work, and it's a sort of an acting job as well.
I just worry that, is he like with the Top Gear men? Is he the James May? Do you know
No,
what I
well,
mean?
as Pierre says, he's a mascot, but he's also their arch nemesis.
Yeah.
In some way,
It's
yeah.
so
It's a
complicated.
bit like when a man marries a much younger woman.
Go on.
Yeah, she's a mascot, but also in many ways becomes his arch nemesis. That's fair enough.
Oh dear. What is it Rod Stewart said? Was it Rod Stewart who said, next time I'm just going to save time, find someone I don't like and buy them a house?
I once had dinner.
Goodness sake, Rod.
I had dinner in the south of France with Jim Davidson and and a partner. He just happened to be at the same hotel. He's very entertaining, I must say. And he was talking about getting married. Been married 4 or 5 times or something.
That figures.
And his girlfriend said, "Why do you always marry him, Jim?" And he said, it's lovely. He said, it's day out, all the girls have a bath.
Oh my God.
What a world to live in.
All the girls have a
The
bar.
girls have a bath.
I think he meant not in any sensual way, sort of the blokes
No,
don't
like a
bother.
spa day.
Yeah, something of that. Well, I think now they just have a bath. Just for a special occasion. Oh, man.
Anyway, returning to Simon, who was talking about introducing band members with Mr.
Yeah.
I listened to a 1957 recording of Nina Simone live. I listened to, I should say.
Yeah, okay.
And she was introduced as Miss Nina Simone.
Yes, well, I think that used to be a thing as well. Miss Peggy Lee, certainly. You used to get a lot of that, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Shirley Bassey, even if she'd been married like 6 times or whatever.
I did used to like that song, that Nina Simone, My Baby Just Cares, but I find it has been overused in retail environments. I just think of it as kind of like furniture stores. And
I knew someone who gigged with her at Ronnie Scott's, and she used to bring all her belongings on stage with her because she thought they might get stolen in the dressing room.
I was going to say car boot sale.
Well, no, one of my earliest pieces of comedy advice was a guy said, always take your wallet on stage. And one night she arrived with about 8 bags of grocery and took all that on. As well.
Really?
Didn't she?
Yeah, she didn't trust people.
Did she introduce the groceries?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Did she then
And for
throw,
breakfast.
did she then throw salt in
For
people's eyes?
breakfast. Yeah. Mr. Cocoa Pop.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, 559, my husband Colin stitched press studs on the duvet and the duvet cover to stop it moving. That's from Nicky. That's his story, Nicky.
Yeah, I don't know if it works. Poppers, as they started calling press studs at one point.
Yes.
I don't want those in the bedroom.
No,
Let's
I
leave it
find
there.
that keep me
Let's
awake.
leave it there, please. Frank
I just
Skinner.
get a headache. I don't know what the fuss is
Okay,
about.
dear. Okay.
I'll tell you something that happened to me this week. My battery-operated pencil sharpener ceased.
That's because it's not 1974.
No, I said that would be one of my life-changing purchases. Oh, man.
Is it on the... Do you know, I used to be so jealous of the teachers. That's all they had on the desk, Frank. They had a brown table and just the mounted...
Well, the one when you... Yeah. But there's one where you turn the handle. I had one
Yeah.
of those years ago. But this one, you literally just go... and it's...
Feels like you're working at a lumber mill for a second.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it is such a life change. Anyway, it went... And I thought, OK, so it takes 4 AAs, batteries, just saying. And every time...
Double A's.
Every time...
Yeah.
Double A's, is that what they call them?
Okay.
Is that what they call?
Yes.
Okay, so 4 double A's, and every time I change them, I always think, as I drop them in the bin, I bet there's only one of these gone.
Yeah.
I bet the other 3 are perfectly healthy, but I can't be bothered to go through the process.
Oh, I can't.
Imagine that. You'd have to sit them down in numbered places on a page so you didn't do the same combo twice.
Interrogate them one by one.
So I reckon we must all be throwing away loads of healthy batteries.
Oh, yeah.
That's just wrong, isn't it? When I say throwing away, obviously I take them to the battery bank. Maybe somebody is testing them all and then they're being resold, the good ones.
Oh, hopefully.
You thought about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but who would it be? Some poor soul getting 20 quid an hour sitting in the shed.
Oh, it's gone rather bleak.
Yeah, I do
That's
that.
gone a bit bleak. Sorry,
Frank.
everyone.
I would like to take us back to some subjects we've covered previously on this show.
Okay. Well, let's. The producer just gave me a real dig in the side of the. What would you call that part of the body? The midriff.
Flank.
Okay.
Just hit me on the trunk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe the readers don't know about my trunk. It's something I've kept quiet.
I seriously hope not.
It's a recent growth. But anyway, just a minute, I've got a sneeze coming on. That's better. Yes, we'll come back to those
We will.
previous discussions.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
251. Frank, my partner has a tester to see which battery has died. He is very tight. That's Rachel in Sheffield.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad idea. And we shouldn't be throwing away good batteries, but maybe someone tests them at the battery bank. That's my theory.
Now, you may recall I was going to take us back into the recent past.
Yes.
Andy, this is our lovely readers have got in touch. Just responding to things covered previously on this
Yes,
show.
I should say people, particularly our podcast listeners, get in touch later because you can't contact us mid-podcast, obviously.
Andy has reached out to us, and I like this already. He had me at subject line rock merch.
Okay, sounds good.
Feels like it'll be up our Strasser.
Yeah.
Good morning, Frank, Emily and Pierre. I hope you are having a great morning. As a long-time listener, I've enjoyed...
I don't know about great.
Okay. I've enjoyed your penchant for classic rock.
I haven't wore that penchant for ages.
It was choking you a bit.
Okay.
And the subsequent spate of live concerts.
Oh, yes.
You see, spate is usually only ever in a negative context.
It's usually burglaries.
and other more serious offences, I'm
Yeah.
afraid. you
What,
know.
like writing till death us do part? It was Johnny
That
Spate.
is such a niche reference. Literally, me and my late father are probably the only
No, you're
people-
quite right. We can't be having niche references on this show.
No. Where will it end?
I love it. Anyway, Andy continues. This has indeed spurred me to be now a first-time mailer as I seek your opinion on a pet hate I have as a frequent concert goer. I find it increasingly irritating that people will wear random rock bands T-shirts to a concert. Example, a GNR T-shirt to an AC/DC gig.
Can I offer an explanation?
Well, let's just... Andy,
Okay.
he's nearly done, Frank. Surely this is the equivalent of wearing a Tranmere Rovers shirt to a Burnley match.
It's a good point.
On occasion, I've even asked the owner of the clothing if the band is also playing, and maybe I'd miss them on the lineup.
Oh.
Bit of a git. Good friend for you. I'd welcome your opinion on this gripe. Am I alone in wanting to show my allegiance to the band I go to watch?
Well, here's the thing. I think for a start off, I'm very happy to say that rock is a bit less tribal than football.
Yes, I was going to say, I think this is a football mindset he's bringing.
I think that one of the things you see at a lot of gigs is someone in a jacket or waistcoat almost entirely made of patches of various bands. And they are saying, not this is my band, but this is my genre, is what they're saying.
It's called a battle jacket or a battle vest.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
But so that...
Has it got cut-off arms?
Sometimes.
And also, like Bars last night wore a Kiss T-shirt to Iron Maiden, knowing that when we got there, I would buy him an Iron Maiden T-shirt. So I think he just picked the T-shirt that would fit most easily in my jacket pocket.
Yes.
So that he could go straight into the new Maiden shirt, which he's wearing this morning.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, I love a purist, but I think actually saying, "Oh, are they on as well?" is really, really pushing it. But you know, I've never been anti-petty.
No.
Oh no.
Have you met my Auntie Petty? She's a lovely, lovely woman.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novelli. You can text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk.
Do you think a good sort of remix would be to go from Under Pressure with the finger clicking at the end straight into the Addams Family theme
Oh,
tune?
God, yeah. Da-da-da-da.
How do you feel about finger clicking in songs?
I quite like it. In fact, 81215 best finger clicking moments in songs.
It's a bit
I don't think-
she's broke, but it's oak.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I don't mind that. I like those rhymes.
I know you
There
do.
must be a Simon and Garfunkel finger clicking thing. Am I going mad?
Why?
Surely.
Why?
I just something in
They're
my head
playing
just goes.
guitars.
First thing that popped into my head was those guys will click some fingers, won't they?
I can't think of any off the top of my Swede.
Don't know.
But I mean, you'd go some to beat the Addams Family. That is forefronting finger
Oh,
clicking.
they're leading the way. Listen, Kim Ormston from Birkenhead has got in touch. Just a quick. This is in reference to what Andy, one of our listeners, was saying earlier about. He feels you should be wearing. If you're going to wear any T-shirt to a gig, make it the T-shirt representing the band you've gone to see. Au contraire, says Kim, just a quick pointer, that it's actually considered a metal faux pas to wear the shirt of the band you're going to the gig of.
What?
So that's what? A metal
Well,
faux
that
pas.
is, I have to say, a very commonly made faux pas, if that's the case.
A metal faux
What are
pas.
some other metal faux pas you could make?
that's-
Assuming an
That's how you know. That's how you know you're on the right tube line. Is that
Yeah.
loads of people get on
Yeah.
with that T-shirt, so you think, oh yeah, they're all going there.
When
Yeah.
the lead singer is crowd surfing, you pass him to the left.
What are other metal faux pas?
Yeah.
Imagine if you shouted out Edward instead of Eddie. Oh, that would be embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
Or you'd have
Or
some-
Walter instead of Wally, when people used to shout Wally at gigs.
We've also, you're going to love this, Frank. You're going to love it. I feel confident.
That's what people told me about Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, we didn't like that, did we?
Oh yeah, it was all right.
We
but-
felt a lot of pressure from our friends to like
You know when
it. All
people
our
say
friends
you're-
loved it. It's the greatest film. We
Really,
hated
but
it.
specifically Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Oh, people got obsessed by
Well,
it.
they
They
can't
told
just
us we
say.
love it.
Obviously, specifically, they can't say you'll really like films.
Sure.
That'd be crazy.
But
Sure.
we just was. We didn't like that at all.
You know how people define, you must get this, they'll say, oh, so you'll absolutely love it, it's perfect
Yeah.
for you. And then you see it and you think, what do you think I am?
We had the
Yes.
same with The Sopranos.
It's the
And
culture.
I looked at that and thought it was like the Dolmio ad. I can't be watching that.
No.
And everyone loved it. We didn't
Still
like
do,
it.
they? People still love
They
it.
still
Yeah.
tell us. We
But,
won't.
you know, I had it with Hamilton.
It's
I
the
know.
culture equivalent of
Unlistenable.
yes. It's the culture equivalent of being set up on a blind date.
Yes, it is, exactly.
You think this is
You'll
who you
love
think
Ha-
I am.
You and Hamilton will get on so well.
Nevertheless,
I love to hear Wikipedia set to music.
nevertheless, I do not think this will be one of your Donnie Darkos.
Okay,
I think
fair
you're
enough.
going to get along.
Well, we'll have to have a cliffhanger
Oh,
on this
yeah.
because
Will Frank like this. I'm going to call it piece of advice.
Okay. Well, I'm always interested in advice in all its manifestations.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Do you
Yeah.
wish to hear Keith's advice?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless it's our Keith's
I was going to
advice.
say, had I asked you that in your teenage years, the answer might have been somewhat different.
I took his advice. That's why I became an alcoholic.
Okay. Hi, Keith starts. In
Okay.
alphabetical order, Emily, Frank, Pierre.
Good.
A free solution, oh, I know you'll like this, to Frank's battery testing dilemma. Dead batteries bounce. I love that band. Just drop them all, negative end down, from about 15 centimetres.
Which is negative? Is that the nipple or the flat?
The
Beg
flat.
your pardon, it's the minus.
Is it the flat?
It's a flat.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
If you drop them all together, you can see which ones bounce relative to the others. There are videos explaining the science, but life is short.
It sounds like witchcraft.
We've also had Jonathan Hollis get in touch.
He's just been in touch, hasn't
He
he?
says he acknowledges this by saying hello again, like
Okay.
a sort of recurring character in a sitcom on ITV.
Oh, great.
Hello again. That could be your catchphrase, Jonathan.
Like, was it Tristram who lived next door to George and Mildred?
Well, we had a family friend, in fact, who was a recurring character on Fresh Fields, which was a
Oh,
1980
okay.
sitcom. And her character was Sonia the neighbour, and her catchphrase was, only me.
Oh,
Sonia?
that's a good catchphrase.
OK, re-battery issues. I always do the drop test to see if a battery still has power. Simply hold the battery vertically 2 to 3 inches above a hard, flat surface. If it bounces, replace the battery.
How about? I never heard of that in my long life.
This is craziness.
You don't.
I'm
What?
so sceptical of the bouncing battery.
You see, I just think, okay, this is a great life hack.
So
It
do
sounds
I.
like it's on YouTube, which surely is proof.
No further questions, my lad.
Yes, but
I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know.
how many people being questioned say, "Oh, well, let's not leave it there. I don't want to end on that." Okay,
Would you like to hear...
I thought you were going to say "swing on a star."
No.
but you didn't.
No, with a finger clicking.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
very finger clicking.
Oh, would you like to swing on a star? Oh,
Carry more. Okay, we won't carry.
Yeah, Golden Age of Vegas. That's clicking territory.
Have you been to Vegas,
Sinatra
Frank?
did a lot of clicking.
Frank, do you like Vegas?
You know what? The first few times I went to Vegas, I wasn't sure about it, and then suddenly I fell for it completely.
Did
If
you?
you just think,
Is it a bit smelly? I imagine it
it's
just being a bit
lots of stuff.
smelly.
You've got to accept if you know when you really embrace tacky, it can be quite enjoyable.
Yes, I
That's
know.
what you have to do there.
Okay.
I think when Frank Sinatra was clicking, it was half rhythm, half signalling to some mob goons to drag out various
Yeah, maybe.
people from the audience.
Mob goons. There could be. I can imagine there being a modern musician called Mob Goons.
Mob goons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you most associate with mob goons? I would say Dean Martin.
Well, no, I think Dean Martin kept his hands fairly clean.
Oh, was he
Frank was.
What about the Kennedys? They liked to mob goon.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
liked to. And any boxer. But often they were the dupe of mob goons rather than the
Oh, do you think
controllers.
the mob goons took advantage of them?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hate it when they do that.
Mob goons.
Yeah, jeez.
Booker T and the MGs. Booker T was absolutely in their thrall.
Yes.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Did I tell you, by the way, when I was at Download Festival with my lovely boy, Buzz,
You didn't make a metal faux pas, did you?
well, a guy came up to me, and I have a witness to this. He's 11, but he's honest. A bloke came up to me and said, "Look, this is really weird, but can you just give me a number, any number at all?" And he said, it's a decision-making thing. And I said, 7. He said, "Great, got it, thanks very much," and then just walked off.
Oh.
What could that have been?
Oh, it's the ghost of Len Goodman. So, how extraordinary.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was odds or evens.
Yeah, maybe, like Dice Man thing.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 people were killed in the McDonald's there an hour later.
Oh, for God's sake,
No, there
Frank,
wasn't.
don't
It's a lie. There wasn't a McDonald's there.
Also, it would only have been a problem if it was 7 people killed at the McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
Then-
Well, he might have won, that might have been an accidental double.
You could have really changed his life.
Yeah, or someone else's.
Yeah.
Do I split with my girlfriend or not?
I wonder what it was.
Anyway, if you're listening, mate. What was it?
Yeah, what was it?
Paul Waite has been in
I
touch.
went for a biblical number, so it'll probably be all right. Go on,
Of
Paul
course you
White.
did. Well, this is in response. We call it our previously section. Full disclosure, this is in response to topics that we've raised previously on this show. And Paul Waite has been in touch. Hi, Frank and team. Having spent the last year or so catching up on the back catalogue of podcasts, it struck me that barely a week goes by without Frank visiting a zoo. What aren't we being told?
It's a slight exaggeration. Because there was the week I had a crack at was it Cotswold Reptile Centre and never found it. Literally never found it.
It's the sign that promises so much on the motorway.
I just drove round and around and around and never found
You
it.
never found the reptiles.
I did find
It's
World
because
of
they
Crocodiles.
camouflage themselves. That maybe you did
Oh,
drive
yeah,
through it. It's a
maybe.
drive-through.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a chameleon exclusive.
They're so good at the camo, those reptiles.
Anyway, yes. Well, it's difficult this because I know I spoke to several zookeepers. We had a sleepover at the zoo a few weeks ago, me and my family, and I spoke obviously to several of the people who work there, and they said probably once a week they have to defend zoos to people.
Really?
But the zoos and London Zoo,
Absolutely.
which we are members of, does a lot of educational conservation type stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this is all sounding very heartwarming.
David
However,
Attenborough speaks there. I know he can be very cruel.
Well, I was going to say, what does he do? I hope he's not doing
I know he does a lot of
illegal fights between cockerels or anything.
No, he does.
He's not got into that line of work, has he?
No, as long as they film it, he's happy with any animal violence.
Dawn Gardner, Frank, has got in touch.
Yeah.
Talking of animal violence.
It's good to get it out of the way before the sun comes out.
Yeah. A few years...
Dawn Gardner. Sorry.
A few years back now, I was taking my toddler daughter to London Zoo. We were at the Pelicans. Not a particular favourite.
Oh, I like it. When you get to my age, you identify with their throats.
Well, she continues, and a pigeon landed on the grass next to one.
Oh, we talked about this recently, about pigeons landing amidst wild animals.
I should warn you, if you're of a nervous disposition, there's some brief animal violence coming up, but
Okay.
it's fine.
Attenborough turns up the volume, rubs his hands together.
Presses his ear against the digital radio.
Hurry up,
Can you be quiet?
especially like this.
Go on. What happened to the pigeon?
Within a split second, the pelican had grabbed the pigeon and swallowed it in 2 gulps whole.
Wow.
You could briefly see it wriggling around in the pelican's gullet. I am still not a fan of pelicans. That thin membrane gullet repulses me.
Again, I take exception to that.
I mean, we've all had that said to us at some
Yeah, I
point in
know.
our lives.
I know. It's a horrible way to be dumped. What I'd like to know, and it would take the pigeon to answer this, is when you're in the throat, can you actually see through? Can you see the outlines of zoo visitors
and a little
through
voice.
the pelican's throat?
Would you be banging, saying, help, help?
But imagine you can see sort of shadows moving about before the third gulp, and you go into digestive juices territory. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Simon of Sudbury has been in touch, aka 597. How about king of the road. Now that's finger clicking good.
Trailers for sale or rent. Do.
Rooms to let 50 cents.
Is that the Scottish
I do the
version?
Proclaimers
King of the
version.
Rood.
Yeah,
King of the Rood.
I do that. Is that finger clicking?
I think,
quite.
I think they might.
they
Yeah,
do
I
do
think
it.
they could be. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
And then 523 Mob Goons. I think we've got this week's podcast title. By the way, I've always wondered who decides on the podcast episode titles.
Not us, actually.
Not
us. And
It's
how?
one of the few decisions we hand over to what I believe Gru would call his minions.
I imagine Frank keeps a little list of potential titles as you're
don't.
doing the show, then picks the best one. That's from Matt in sunny
If I
Valencia.
did, they'd be better.
Oh, come. I happen to like the titles.
Yeah, I find they're basically designed to give away a major punchline.
Oh, please.
They have to tempt Frank and lure.
Oh,
Exactly.
what click tease? Is that what's going on?
Clickbait.
Yeah.
A click
Sorry.
tease is something else.
No,
Yeah.
it's,
Okay.
it
Can we-
isn't. It sounds
I
like
really
something
want
else.
to move on immediately.
All right.
Okay, this is really unfortunate, the territory we've entered. Let's move over to Iceland
Oh,
and
okay.
communicate with...
Oh, I tell you, while we're in Iceland, can I ask you a question? When I was growing up in the West Midlands, one of my favourite meals, and I mean this is from the heart, was faggots and peas.
Oh,
Or
I see. We're not in Reykjavik. We're in Iceland.
faggots and peas, as they used to
Brains
call them.
faggots.
So, mushy peas I still find readily accessible and eat them quite a lot. But I don't see faggots for sale in the frozen sections of
Not outside of the
supermarkets.
West Midlands, no.
No, but why not?
Because I don't think they ever spread.
See, I was having meatballs in an Italian restaurant, and in a Greek restaurant actually, and I thought these are lovely, but they're not like the brains faggots of yesteryear. Is there anyone out there can tell me?
What are they made from?
What
They're
is
made-
it?
You know, it's sort of haggis world. They're made from parts of an animal that you don't want to
Why
see
do
on the
they call the
ingredients
company
list.
Brains? It doesn't sound very appetising, does it? You wouldn't call a meat-based company Brains.
Mrs. Weston next door to us, who we used to take a Sunday lunch round for every week, and she'd be sitting there with a massive spoon waiting for it to arrive. She had brains on toast as a regular
Did she?
thing, yeah.
Was she a zombie?
No, she was very clever.
Was she?
No, she wasn't. It doesn't work like that. It's not as, we are what we eat. No.
Anyway, I'm going to take us over to the other Iceland.
Oh, yes,
Have
yes.
you been? I highly recommend
I
it.
have been, actually, yeah.
Gary in Iceland with a double R. Hi, guys. Love the show. As you were recently talking about lions eating landing pigeons in London Zoo, I thought I'd tell you about an experience I had a couple of years ago in China. I'll just set us up here.
Right.
I visited an endangered big cat park in the far northeast of China, where you drive into the Siberian tiger's enclosed habitat in a jeep.
Fantastic.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I got stripes across my shoulders.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Well, I left us. Do you remember we were discussing Gary in Iceland?
Yes.
And he just entered the big cat park in
Yeah.
the far northeast of China. Siberian tigers wandering around, and he's in a jeep. Not unlike a 90s, 70s style Knowsley Safari Park. Are you familiar with that?
Mosley.
He's put Knowsley. Anyway, but the big difference being that for an extra $10, the driver, I'm afraid this is, again, if there's anyone listening who doesn't want to hear about animal violence,
Yes.
do absent yourself. Okay?
If only Attenborough gave those warnings. Rather than treating it like a sort of happy slapping project.
Yeah. Just to warn you, we're going to see some fabulous killings.
And this really is my favourite bit. for $10, for an extra $10.
Look out behind you.
Oh, you didn't.
Things David Attenborough never says. Look out behind you.
Or kapow.
Go on.
For an extra $10, the driver throws a live chicken. I'm afraid.
Oh.
I know. It's very cruel.
Though I think Alice Cooper did that once, threw one into the audience.
And it is described as fun for all the family.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But the main reason I share this is to say that they also had a few, is it ligers? The
Is there
rare
a cross between a lion and a
mated
tiger?
cross of a tiger and a lion.
Yeah.
I'm afraid genetically they are both infertile and obese.
Right.
We've all been there, dear.
Yeah, exactly.
They were less entertaining. And I'm afraid they were too overweight to even chase the chickens.
Really?
The ligers.
Why do they get overweight? Both slim animals.
I always thought both the lion and the tiger were famed for their lovely trim waist.
Yeah, exactly. I saw a Z-donk at Colchester Zoo.
What's that
yes.
like? Is it stripy then?
Well, I'll tell you what was weird about it is that it wasn't much of a mashup.
Oh, is it not?
It's
Is it more donk or Z?
I think the mashup had fallen down the stairs a bit. So it was basically front half donkey, back half zebra. It was a bit pantomime horse.
Some Frankenstein stitched together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looked like
was
somebody had
it?
tried to, put some roadkill together.
Oh, was it a bit Nightmare Before Christmas?
I remember I
over
touched
stitching?
it on the snout. It was
You
very
did?
important to me at the time that I could say I'd touched a Z-donk.
What was it like?
I remember its teeth. It showed its teeth when I touched it. It was a risk looking back.
Yeah, with your
Oh.
history.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We've also had so
I
many...
touched the donk side.
And I liked it.
The dog side. What if he had been talking about a Z-donk? Beware of the donk side.
Come over to the donk side or you'll get kicked.
Exactly.
Our readers have, a lot of them, have been in touch regarding brains faggots.
Do you think somebody at the donkey threshold,
Oh, God.
the donkey house, said what would be a good animal for crossing? And somebody said, well, obviously,
Yeah.
bit Route 1, I know, but...
The zebra.
Yeah.
Pelican's too difficult.
Yeah, you know what they're like?
And also, I never did like that gossamer thin gullet.
No. I don't know. He played well for Holland.
Oh, come on, Frank. That's good.
Okay. Are we done? I think we
Well,
are.
I just
sorry.
want to close by saying thank you to all our readers who've been in touch to reassure us from 743 to 618 that brains faggots are still very much available.
Are they?
Emma purchased some this morning. I mean, it is mainly our readers in Birmingham,
Okay.
but yeah.
Oh, man. Faggots
618
and
tells us, Frank, Tesco always have brains faggots. Other stores are available, be it Birmingham Tesco or Birmingham Tesco.
Or Wolverhampton, Tesco.
Or
West Bromwich,
Northumberland.
Tesco.
Also, I've seen them in Poundland freezers too. That's from Rachel, a Northumbrian in Brum.
See, they can't just sell them in the Midlands.
I don't know.
What
I haven't
about
seen
the
them anywhere else.
exiles?
No, I mean, no one is texting saying there are faggots always available in Islington Waitrose.
No, I know. Oh, man. Just talking about them is making my mouth generate fluid. So, Sarah Champion is up next. Do listen to Sarah. And thanks for listening to us. And you know what? If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.